Five-ish fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the five-ish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the five-ish. I am the Sixth Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
The tangents this week continue all the way to episode 360 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Oh, the life of a pirate, sailing the open ocean with the wind in your hair, searching for buried treasure, drinking rum, and singing show tunes. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Sounds like just let's start off like a do Rick with virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Belvedere.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Sally from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Avast!
Yes.
The heartiest.
Ho, ho, yo, ho.
Thankfully, I
Where's
survived
all the
my...
rum gone?
Yeah. Thankfully, I survived my day out skiing for my birthday, and therefore I do not have a peg leg.
Yay! That's always
Let's-
a good thing.
Let's hear it
Right?
for not getting maimed at your birthday celebrations.
Yeah. Considering I had not been on skis in over 20 years. Yes.
Wow.
that is quite an accomplishment.
Girl, you did good then.
Yes, you did.
I only fell 4 times, and only 2 of those were my fault.
Hey, that's even better.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. Anyway. Well, happy birthday, belated Rachel.
Yes.
Sounds like it was a hoot and a half, which again we will get to.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, it was quite the eventful weekend. But we shall get to that. First, the news. Not a whole lot of news, but news from Netflix land, or really the upside down. Stranger Things is finally coming back for season 4. Actually, season 4 is going to be 2 parts. It'll be volume 1 and volume 2. So we got a nice post on the Facebook from Matt and Ross, the showrunners, saying, "Hi nerds, do you copy? It's been a little while, with 9 scripts over 800 pages, which that's a lot for a TV show.
Yeah.
Almost, because usually in script writing, whether it's for TV or movies, generally a page is about a minute of runtime. So 800 pages, that's 800 minutes. That's a lot.
Yeah. And although it did, I mean, who knows how many of those scenes will actually make it to the final cut, but still, that is a lot.
Yeah. Almost 2 years of filming, thousands of visual effects shots, and a runtime nearly twice the length of any previous season. See, 800 pages. Stranger Things 4 was the most challenging season yet, but also the most rewarding one. Everyone involved is incredibly proud of the results, and we can't wait to share it with you. Given the unprecedented length, and to get it to you as soon as possible, season 4 will be released in 2 volumes. Volume 1 will release on May 27th. Volume 2 will release 5 weeks later on July 1st. So that's the good news. It's coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. It's also the beginning of the end. 7 years ago, we planned out the complete story arc for Stranger Things. At the time, we predicted the story would last 4 to 5 seasons. It provided too large to tell in 4, but as you'll soon see for yourselves, we are now hurtling towards our finale. Season 4 will be the penultimate season. Season 5 will be the last. There's still many more exciting stories to tell within the world of Stranger Things. New mysteries, new adventures, new unexpected heroes. But first, we hope that you stay with us as we finish this tale of a powerful girl named Eleven and her brave friends, of a broken police chief and a ferocious mom of a small town called Hawkins, and an alternate dimension known only as the Upside Down. As always, we are grateful for your patience and support.
Well, I am glad that they're like, okay, this is our story. We will tell it this much, and then that's it. And they're not gonna. And I tip of the hat to any showrunner who does something like that and just says, "Yep, this is it, and we're done." And we have it all planned out. But seems like it should be a good deal.
Yeah. Yep.
So very much looking forward to that.
Yes.
Same. And you have a bit to rewatch the first 3 seasons, or stop watching.
Find a YouTube video doing a
rundown,
a quick rundown.
Yeah.
But really, I just need a quick rundown to remind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could sit down and try to watch it all again, but at the same time, it's like those episodes are like all the cliffhangers. Like, I gotta watch the next one, and then before you know it, it's 4 a.m. and you have to go to work, and yeah. But
yeah, that's definitely
that's a consideration to make.
Mm-hmm.
But should be fun.
Yeah,
one way or the other.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm glad that they're managed to film everything with everything going on, but how it is, especially with this cast, because these kids are going to grow. So, they need to film as fast as possible before Millie Bobby Brown looks like she's 30. So yeah.
That's the thing with child actors is like, okay, if you've got a story about kids, kids grow up. They do that. And I mean, I know there's a tendency, or there was, especially to cast like high schoolers or 20 somethings as high schoolers. Thinking of some of those high school movies back in the 90s, and like, you guys ain't teenagers, but still. So yeah. So there's that, fun times.
Yeah.
And then
should be good.
Yeah. And then we have some fun news, and I made sure to get it in the show notes so I wouldn't forget this time.
Yeah.
Like I did last time. Last time Jared released a book. But for those of you who have been reading the Black Chronicles, Jared's main sci-fi series, just as of this morning, just published book 4. So it is
downloaded and waiting for me to dive into.
Yes, it's called Black Salvage. I have read it. I'm one of the beta readers, obviously. This one's fun. I don't want to spoil it, but it takes place right after book 3, basically. So there's no like time hop or anything. And yeah, I shall say no more because I don't want to spoil it, because it's like, you guys ought to read it for yourselves. But there will be a link in the show notes where you can procure yourself a copy, available on Kindle. And it's also the paperback is also available if you want to go that route. Usually Jared was afraid that usually it takes a while for the paperback to go live, just because there's extra formatting and stuff to go with that. But he actually got it all done in about 3 hours yesterday, and then Amazon does its thing in the back end, and then when it's live, they let us know. So this morning they let us know. So we're like, sweet. So yeah, so if you want paperback, you can order that, or Kindle, or it's also on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a subscription to Kindle Unlimited, you don't have to buy the book. You can just borrow it, and those page reads support, or those, yeah. One day I'll explain how Kindle Unlimited works if you really want me to, but yeah, either way. So enjoy.
Cool.
And he is working on book 5.
Yeah.
He's actually about maybe a 4th ready.
So when you get to the end of this one and go, okay, when's the next one? Where's the rest of it? You can be like, it's being worked on as we speak.
We're hoping it will be ready before Alex's birthday, which is in August. So and I only mention that because it's book 5 before he turns 5. So we will see.
Yep. Awesome sauce.
Yes.
All right. And then in the feeds, your podcast feeds, wherever you get your podcasts, if you've not refreshed recently, there's a new episode of Gold Standard of the Oscars podcast available with episode 44, The French Connection. Which, if you know your Oscars history, you know that next episode we are getting into Coppola territory.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Do you take the
to
gun
stuff
with
my
the
jowls
cannolis?
full of cotton for the next episode. Brando, I got nothing on me.
Yeah. Or you could do the Belushi and put the oranges, stuff the oranges in your
Yeah.
cheeks.
Yeah. That might taste better.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Take
I'll
the
have
gun, leave the
flashbacks to,
cannoli.
yeah.
Good as
I'll
the
have
night is
flashbacks to when I have my wisdom teeth taken out. All right. Moving on to feedback. Some feedback from Shalane. And she mentioned that the Oscars are finally getting hosts. Actually, you're getting 3 hosts for the first time since 2018, which, whatever. I'm still holding out for the Muppets to host the Oscars. So until that happens,
Don't hold your breath.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Book of Boba Fett, she says that she did enjoy it. She says her favorite was when the Mandalorian returned. And she mentions how Bryce Dallas Howard has been very busy filming Jurassic World Dominion and then working on Book of Boba Fett. Yes, she's a very busy lady. And then Grogu, of course, stole the show, as he does. As I'm sitting here looking at my bag of Goldfish limited edition Star Wars Mandalorian
Oh,
crackers,
cool.
Yeah,
cheddar
yeah, all
flavored
all
crackers that
those-
my father-in-law got me.
All those memes saying that the Mandalorian is, Pedro Pascal's back is broken from carrying the Star Wars franchise. It's a lie. It's a little green muppet. It's
Yes.
adorable. That's what's the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
Mhm. Yes.
I mean, we bought a gigantic Baby Yoda plushie. Well, Grogu. I still call him Baby Yoda. We got that for
Yeah.
Lottie for her birthday, and it sits on her crib, and it's a crib converted to a toddler bed now.
Yeah.
But he's huge, and he stands watch while she naps. It's very cute.
Aw.
Yeah, these have the goldfish crackers. There's Stormtrooper, Mando, and Grogu in his little levitating baby carrier, which I don't know if that necessarily translated that well into a cracker. They really should probably just on Grogu's head. But
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine it, and I'm having a hard time. But it's like, the way that some of those cracker shapes come out.
they all taste the same anyway. So
This is true.
She said she's excited for Ahsoka's series. She's watched the Clone Wars and Rebels, and she says she's still waiting for a Princess Leia series. I don't know if that'll ever happen,
That one will have to be animated, probably.
but yeah.
Yeah.
If it ever happens, but
And then she mentioned she did like the gang and their colorful bikes. And then she asked about the Rangers of the New Republic series, which
I
I
haven't
guess
heard anything.
yeah, it wasn't Rangers. It wasn't Rangers of the New Republic. They're doing.
Well, that one was announced. Rangers of the New Republic. It was supposed to be
Yeah.
Cara Dune, and then they screwed over Gina Carano
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
don't get me started on that one. But yeah, so I don't anticipate seeing that one in anytime soon. So
Yeah.
don't get your hopes up there.
Yeah.
Just
We're
the
getting
truth.
we're getting all sorts of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not like we're gonna be hurting for content.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
That's
she-
basically what Star Wars is for Disney Plus now. It's a content machine.
yeah,
Mhm.
which is fine by me because then I get Grogu shaped goldfish.
Yep. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Yeah. And then she speculates about in if either Book of Boba Fett gets another season or Mandalorian season 3 or whatever, if we'll have other former. She says friends. I don't know if Boba Fett really has had friends but before this.
Yeah, he was kind of a loner in the original.
Yeah,
in
but
the
if we have any
trilogy.
other people associated with him make an appearance, like Cad Bane, obviously
Mhm.
they were not friends, they were adversaries, but they were associated with each other. So if we'll have like people from like the Clone Wars cartoon series make an appearance.
Yeah,
at some
I'm
point,
trying to
so-
remember that group he was with a little bit in the show, but it's been a while. And I haven't
Yeah.
got there yet in my rewatch.
Yep. So who knows? We will have to wait and see. Good. Thank you, Shalane, for your feedback. As always. So, all right. Moving on to this week's main topic. As we mentioned, it was my birthday recently. So, therefore,
Yes.
once again, we have circled around to the birthday person gets to pick a Big Finish audio for us to talk
I
about.
like this. I like this birthday tradition.
Yes.
I was gonna say I like it too.
Mm.
So we shall continue as long as we still like it. Which
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's plenty
Oh,
of Big
what-
Finish to go around.
I was like, how can
Yes.
you not love this? Anyway,
And of course, it being me, it's gonna be a Sixth Doctor audio.
of course,
And this is,
of
and this
course.
is one of my favorite Sixth Doctor audios.
Yes.
So, after, of course, it's not just gonna be any Sixth Doctor. It's gonna be a Sixth Doctor and Evelyn story.
Mhm.
And technically, this is Big Finish's first musical
Yes.
story.
Oh, this one is a classic. This is
Granted,
Yes, it is.
it's not original music. They are essentially parodying.
Doing a little Weird Al.
Yes,
yes.
from musicals that also happen to be about pirates and sailing the high seas. So,
Yes.
but to get who knew Colin Baker could
Is a
Sing and
man-
rattle off.
he's a man of many talents.
Yes. It is. This one is so much fun.
Mhm.
But
yeah.
it's I mean, it's not. Well, we'll get to that. I was gonna say it's not just fun because there are
Yes.
some serious aspects
Yeah.
of it, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
It's,
everything is well balanced.
Yeah.
That's my short review.
Yeah, it does. It's like 3/4 of the way there. It's like, oh, this is really fun singing, and you're like trying to figure out what the hell's going on here because Evelyn shows up at this I guess student of hers at the place, the university where she teaches.
She's like a the dorm mom or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have a
she's
name for it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's talking to this poor gal, Sally, trying to tell this story, except Evelyn can't keep her story straight.
Mhm.
Oh gosh.
And for
Evelyn,
those who
she may be like an expert at history, but she can't tell a story to save her life.
No, not
and then we
really.
get-
She
and then
she
we
struggles
get
at
the
certain
Rashomon.
things.
Yeah.
And we get the Rashomon, a little bit like, well, no, I thought it happened this way. No, it happened this way.
Yeah.
You're
for
all
those-
telling
when
it
you get the-
wrong.
You get the doctor involved telling the story, and the doctor tends to exaggerate too. So
And this poor girl is just sitting there going, "What the crap is
yeah,
all
it's like late
this?"
at night, and she's like, "I just want to be." It's like you showed up. It's like bedtime. I haven't had dinner yet.
I want to go to
Why are you
sleep,
offering me
please.
cake?
Like,
That's
what is
Evelyn
going
does.
on?
Mhm.
Evelyn
And I did.
Evelyn takes from the book of a certain Hogwarts professor chocolate and
Yes.
cake
Mhm.
fixes everything.
Yes.
So
Yep.
Whether there are Dementors or not.
Yep.
So I mean, this is still very early on at Big Finish. This is in the main range. It's number
Yes.
43.
hmm I mean,
Um,
they've definitely found their feet with what they're doing. So this is like, hey,
Yes.
we're in audio. We can experiment. We can, let's try something. Let's try something a little different. And so they do. And
mhm.
this is what.
Yes.
And this is this is what we get.
Yes.
And,
And this one
it's-
is a good one, and it's available on Spotify. So
yes.
I wanted to put that plug in there in case people are like, "Ooh, we're interested now."
Mhm.
Here
Yes.
you go.
So you don't. Yeah. I mean,
If you don't have
is-
the $2.99,
mhm.
Fine. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is
baby.
also on the one of the cheaper early ones. So, but even so,
Yep.
so you have avenues to find this if you
Mhm.
so desire.
Yes. I mean, I know Spotify's been in a little bit of a trouble lately, but hey, if you can sample some of these earlier ones with a little bits of breaks here and there, it is most definitely worth
Mhm.
hmm
worth the time.
Yeah, because I mean, $2.99 is not a whole lot to dip your toe in.
No.
Like if you guys,
No.
Big Finish, we've talked about this before. They do have some stuff available for free. They tend to be like short trips type things.
Mhm.
Like if you want to get the chance to experience a full one and see what your hard-earned money is going to be buying, then yeah, the stuff
Yeah.
on Spotify is great
Well,
to
and
get a
that's
feel
why-
of what a full cast audio is like.
And that's why they did Spotify, because there are so many people that have Spotify accounts, and people are like, oh, I can just do this first, so it makes sense. So yeah, the Spotify
Mhm.
route is definitely a good option.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And back to the story.
Back to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Although I realize Rachel hasn't talked about her birthday very much yet. So do you want
Oh, no. We
should we do
might
that
wanna-
first?
Yes. Why don't we
Yes,
kind of
by
and
like I
wibbly
said,
wobbly.
Chauncey didn't know that this is what we were going to be doing on the podcast. It's purely coincidental.
You sure he didn't somehow sneak in and see the chat?
No, I am absolutely sure because I told him after the fact, and he's like, "Oh, cool." So,
All right
but
then.
yeah, so Chauncey, my ever so fabulous husband. If you haven't gone to our Facebook page, go to our Facebook page and or Twitter. There's a link to it, the YouTube video there as well. So as long as you have one of those two, you can go watch the video. So yeah, so we went skiing for my birthday on my birthday. And we get up that morning and he's like, I'm gonna give you your birthday present later. I'm like, okay, well, whatever, that's fine. Because he asked me what I wanted, and I'm like, oh, really want anything because next year is a milestone birthday. So I'm like, keep it low key this year. We'll go skiing. Yeah, we'll go out to eat. Yeah,
Next year we'll do the big
next
shebang.
year
Shebang, yeah.
we'll go big or go home. So he's like, okay, that's fine. He's smart. I know he could figure something out. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a birthday present later. So we get to we're skiing and we're doing a thing, and then we go inside to the lodge for a while to thaw out and rest the muscles. So we were all very sore after a couple hours.
Well, I imagine.
Get snack, yeah, that sort of thing before we go back out. And he's like, when we go back out, I'll give you your birthday present then. I'm like, okay, you're gonna give me my birthday present while we're out skiing. What the hell?
What the F?
Yeah, what did you get me that you're going to give it to me? He's like, we'll take the ski lift, we'll go up here, we'll find a spot, we'll go down the hill, we'll find a spot to pull over, I'll give you your present. I'm like, what the crap? What kind of birthday present is this?
I don't want to nudge all the way down a double diamond. Thank you very much.
Yeah, real well. We didn't go anywhere near any black diamonds thinking this, but still,
yeah.
I was like, okay, well, whatever, because he's done things like send me on wacky scavenger hunts like all over town for presents, and so he's done all sorts of weird things. So
your mind's just racing at what in the blazes
Like,
he's got planned.
What is this?
Yeah,
because clearly he's not, doesn't have a box or anything with him.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like, well, you don't got a puppy in your pocket, so we're good. So we get part way down the hill, and he's ahead of me. He pulls off. I don't stop in time, so he's got to catch up with me. Because like I said, it's been over 20. It's been over 20 years since I went skiing. The muscle memory, it took a while to kick back in. And
sometimes when you break with the legs, the snow doesn't
not as fast
quick.
as he can. So. So I end up pulling over. He catches up with me, pulls over. He's like, okay, here, let me have your phone so I can record you. I'm like, okay, that's not that unusual. He's like, here, take my phone. Okay. So he's got my phone, he's recording. He's like, okay, see my screen there? Hit play. I hit play. The sound isn't on at first. And I'm like, wait, stop.
Oh, no.
Rewind.
Pause.
Turn. Yeah. His phone had defaulted to mute.
I was gonna
So-
say, as all the time that you had to come or that he had to catch up with you or whatever, we had time to make sure that was okay. But anyway, continue.
he was hurtling down the side of a mountain. So
Okay, that's fine.
Didn't want to lose
Anyway.
that phone.
Yeah.
while
it was like, but
That is true.
At one point, we're on the ski lift. Small side story. At one point, we were on the ski lift, and like that was the part of the trip that I was most concerned about was the ski lift, because I don't like heights, especially when you're not strapped to anything.
Yeah.
So
You don't want to be doing a Parker pretending help. Slump.
yeah. Yeah, no. My mom got severely injured because of an incident on a ski lift, which is why I have not been skiing in over 2 decades. So
I do not blame you.
Yeah.
yeah. So at one point we're on the ski lift, and Chauncey was talking to me to keep me from being like, oh my God, I'm on the ski lift, don't let me fall. And my phone starts ringing, and of course, I'm not going to grab for it. Like, I'll check and see who it is after I'm off and on solid ground. And it was my dad calling to wish me happy birthday. I'm like, I will call him back later when I've got better signal, because there's no it's like I have like 1 bar up here. So I ended up calling him back like hours later after we're done and getting back in the car. And he's like, why didn't you answer your phone? I was like, I was literally on a ski lift going up the side of a mountain. Is that a good excuse? He's like, yeah, I guess so. So yeah.
Well, I would hope
Okay.
so.
If you must.
Yeah. Traversing the side of a mountain, always a good excuse for anything. Anyway, back to Chauncey's present. So get the sound turned on, hit play. It's a video from the Sixth Doctor himself, Colin Baker, asking if he can borrow my fingernail clipper.
Oh.
Again,
Oh,
really. Yeah. This is not the first time he's made this request of me.
no, it
No, like watching this video, I was like, wow, like either he remembered a lot or Chauncey told him like a ton.
Yes.
Because like
He
I am
told,
so
actually he wasn't actually able to tell him a whole lot because the like communication form through Cameo
Mhm.
apparently has like a character limit.
Oh.
Oh my word.
Because I'm sitting here going like, okay,
So he's
how did
having
he
to like being like, my wife's name is Rachel, she's turning 39, you've met before, you borrowed her fingernail clippers and you offered her the clipping. Like that was that I'm taking her
Wow.
skiing where she will receive this message as her, like that's about as much as he could tell tell Colin in the information, in the
Because yeah,
contract.
because like the way he was going on, I'm like, wow, Chauncey must have had like a really good conversation with him, and no, it was
Nope.
just this little.
No, it's just Colin Baker being Colin Baker is what it
Oh,
is.
it was so cute. Oh, I loved it.
Yes,
Oh,
I
it was
loved it.
just-
Yes.
Yeah. So if you've not heard that story, like, go. If you want to hear the full story, I will put a link in the show notes to that episode after that
Mhm.
particular convention where that occurred, so you can
Yes.
hear it more in context. But the TLDR is, I went to a convention in almost 6 years ago. It'll be 6 years ago, actually next month, of this incident. But I went to a comic convention in Kentucky. The first day was Chauncey and I was in my full first version of my steampunk Sixth Doctor cosplay. Yeah, I got to see Colin. We got a picture. He and Sylvester, who happened to be right next to him, and I were comparing Crocs because we were all wearing Crocs at the time. And then the next day of the convention, it was just me. And I went back into Colin because he had no line. So, and at this point, I'd gotten a bit more comfortable, but just walking up to like celebrity tables and just being like, "Hi, how you doing?" Even if I'm not going to like pay for anything. So I was doing that with like all the Power Rangers that were there too. Because I'd spent
you're
all my
just-
money meeting Colin and Karen Gillan. So
You're just going down the road now.
yeah. Then I was like, Colin doesn't have Colin doesn't have a line, and he, he's my doctor. So, it's like, I'm gonna go up and say hi again. So I walk up to his table, and it's just him and the handler assigned to him, who's there to like take the money and stuff. And he had like a nail that it just broke, it was bothering him. And he's like, "Do you happen to have any fingernail clippers?" I'm like, "Actually, yeah, I do. I tend to carry a pair on me most of the time." Because I too have nails that like to break a lot. I did not inherit the super strong fingernails from my mother. So I lent him the fingernail clippers, and while he's fixing this nail, I'm telling him that I was really excited to meet him the day before and get a picture and how much of a fan I am. And this time I'm glad I didn't cry on him like I did the first time I met him was at Chicago TARDIS, which is a whole other podcast episode that I can also link to in the show notes.
Yeah, you better link to all your Colin Baker
Yes.
encounters.
Yeah. So,
This is like a saga at this point.
it is. It seriously is. So he's like, he's being super nice about it, and the gal next to his handler was just like, this is how I'm spending my. I don't know what she was thinking.
She's just
but-
there.
Yeah. And so he hands me back the fingernail clippers. He's like, "Thank you very much." And I'm like, "You're absolutely welcome." I'm like, "I'm more than happy to help my doctor." And he's like, "Would you like the clippings?" Which there are people out there that collect like locks of like Elvis's hair.
There's some, really,
Use Kleenex from whoever. So
that episode,
yeah, the episode, The Big Bang Theory, where Sheldon gets
Yeah.
the napkin that Leonard Nimoy
Yes,
wiped his
Leonard
face
Nimoy
on.
wiped his face on. He's like, I can clone my own.
Yeah,
Rachel,
so,
I
you
love,
know, when it comes
I
to,
love that you
to
knew that's where I was
fan
going with it.
souvenirs, that it's not that weird. I mean, it's still very weird.
Mhm.
And I considered it for about a half a second, and I was like, yeah, even for me, that's a bit too far. That and I'm pretty sure he was mostly kidding. But still. So I
Makes me think
declined.
so.
But yeah, but ever since then, when I talk to anybody about Doctor Who, and they're like, oh, have you met any of the doctors? And it get eventually this story eventually comes up of how the Sixth Doctor offered me his fingernail clippings. So.
Oh yeah.
But even Colin was like, I can't believe I did that. And I'm like, well, you did. Believe me, I would not make something like that up.
He was
But
so
it was
funny
it
about
was
it.
very sweet. It's very Colin Baker. I mean, that's really who he is as a person.
Mhm.
Is the way he is in that video. His his
Yeah.
poor wife and daughters.
she's-
Which
yeah.
as we're recording this, happy birthday, Bindi.
Yeah, because
Mhm,
it's her birthday too. He even mentioned it.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's like, my middle daughter, Bindi, her birthday's 3 days after yours. That's today. So happy birthday, Bindi.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, go if you haven't had a chance yet, or you just want to watch it again. Go watch it. It's on our link to on our Facebook page, and Rachel will probably link to it in the show notes as well. It is so adorable. I grinned
Yes,
the
it
whole
is.
time I was
Yes.
watching it. I showed it to
Oh,
Jared.
yes.
He's like, "Well, I don't know how to get Peter Davis to send you a message for your birthday." I'm like, "That's not the point."
Point.
Like,
cool.
this is so adorable, and
Cool.
it's Colin Baker, and it's for Rachel, and I was very happy. I was so happy for you. And Chauncey
Yes.
wins all the things. 'Cause
Yes.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I wasn't sure what to expect. But then when he handed me my phone and he's like, press play, and I'm like, I know that face.
Yes.
Bearded geriatric, as he called himself. So.
Yes. So someone I can't remember where the comment was, but they said that he's looking more like the Master these days. That might have been Glenn.
Yeah,
now that I think
he's
about it.
he's got a goatee going there that I'm pretty sure somewhere Roger Delgado is giving a very approving nod.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
sure. I'm sure. He's like,
That is
Well,
he's
suppose-
gone beyond Ainsley as far as the goatee is concerned. He's in Delgado territory now.
Yes.
With the goatee.
Supposedly they're coming out with a new Unbound series for Big Finish, so you never know.
maybe. Well,
I
and you know,
haven't-
he's
I haven't
done.
heard much of a plot line.
Well, now Big Finish is probably like, because Colin he'll do like all kinds of things, not just the Sixth Doctor for Big Finish. He'll do. I've seen him in some of the other the other lines and series that they do that aren't Doctor Who. I've seen like, oh, he's in that one. Cool.
Mhm.
So they might be like, nice goatee you got going there. Do you want to be the Master in our just for something a little different?
Yeah.
Fun.
Big
Yeah.
Finish will let you have that one for free. All we ask are some review copies, and we will review it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
please, and thank you.
Speaking of Big Finish.
Anyway, so there's
Segue!
Rachel's happy birthday.
They
Anyway, so
Yeah,
back
Chauncey
to Doctor
had
Who
no
and the
idea we
Pirates.
were doing Big Finish, let alone a Sixth Doctor Big Finish. It was just,
But it
was
worked
purely
perfectly.
coincidental, but it works
Perfectly.
out really well. So, yes. Excuse me. Yeah. So, yeah, this was again when I first started listening to Big Finish, when I discovered that was a thing, way back in the day, and of course, all the people are like, well, the Sixth Doctor, you like the Sixth Doctor, Big Finish for the Sixth Doctor is really good. I was like, well, I would listen to it anyway. But yeah, so I think the very first one I listened to was the Marian Conspiracy, which we have talked about. And then, going through looking at other Six Doctor Big Finishes, and I see this one, and I'm like, oh, I like pirates. I've always liked to say when it comes to Disney, I'm more pirate than princess. That's before they bought Marvel. Now I'm more superhero than anything, but still. So I'm buying various, back then they weren't $2.99 a piece yet. So,
Nope.
Yeah.
but that's okay. Big Finish, I'm glad to give you my money.
Mhm.
But so I'm buying various Six Doctors, and this had to been like the second or third one, because I know I did American Conspiracy, this one, and Spectre of Lanyon Moore.
Ooh, which is another good one.
Which is
That
another
one's got
good-
the brig in it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's got the Sixth Doctor and Brigadier.
Mhm.
So those were like the first three that I ever got from Big Finish. So I've I think I read the synopsis, a little blurb for it, which again, the publisher's summary is very much like the story itself, where it's like, oh, this sounds fun, this sounds fun, this sounds fun, and drama,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But I was like, ooh, singing? Interesting. It's a Big Finish musical.
Wonder how
No,
this
and-
is gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's very, and this is something that Big Finish does really well, is this is one of those that's self-aware
Mm-hmm.
of what it is. And it's like, oh, we're gonna do a pirate story. Well, we're gonna check all of the cliche pirate boxes, even if they
Mhm.
don't make sense with the story.
But again, I'm like,
the barrels of rum, the captain, when Evelyn first starts telling it, he's got 2 peg legs instead of just one.
yeah, like you've heard of the unreliable narrator trope. I mean, this
Yes.
one, this
Mhm.
story leans heavily on that. 'Cause
Yes.
nobody gets the story quite straight. They'll retell the same scene, and
Mhm.
it's totally different than it was before, but it's still funny, and it's still
Yes.
it's still kind of got that wacky, and it's all part of the overarching plot and the story, because the pirate story isn't necessarily what the main story is about. You just kind of have to roll until the reveal of what's really going on here, and it's just fun that Big Finish, they like I said, it's still early on. They're still they pretty well found their voice, but they're still experimenting what they can do audio and things like that, and so they're still having some fun with it. Not that they don't nowadays, not they don't have fun with it now, but it's kind of in a different way. But yeah, it's a treat. It's just flat out a treat to listen to, and just to kind of see where they take it and how far they go with what they're doing here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm so glad you guys did this one.
Yeah.
It's just a good time.
Yes.
But
Yeah. We have
yeah.
a lot of especially the big, I mean, there's several musical numbers, but the biggest one is the parody of
Modern Major General.
Modern Major General.
Yes.
I know
which
that's
in
not
this
the full
case-
title, but
It's a mouthful. So.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. It's like one of the hardest songs in all of like Broadway,
Yeah.
musicals to do, just because it's so fast and it's a lot of words.
Yes.
So yeah,
Mhm.
they do their version of a very model of a Gallifreyan Buccaneer,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Doctor they get a chance to like name drop a lot of previous stories, like
Mhm.
going in the death zone and playing the game of Rassilon, and then trying to figure
Yeah.
out what'll rhyme with Rassilon.
Rassilon, yes.
Barcelona,
Yeah.
or whatever it was. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, all those. So if you're into if you're into musicals, and even if you're not, but if you've ever seen a play, and if you've seen Pirates of Penzance, or at least know of it, you'll be sitting there going like, okay, yeah, we get this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And
pulls
you'll have
music
that earworm in your ear for a while.
Yes, you will,
Mhm.
and it will frustrate you because you can never remember the words exactly. But you just kind of end up humming it, going. No, that's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm having a hard time, and
All I can ever remember from the original version is something about a hypotenuse. So,
Oh yeah, that's right. There is something about an hypotenuse.
trying to rhyme with hypotenuse,
yeah.
or maybe rhyming with something that ends up being hypotenuse. See, I don't even remember. Yeah. So, but if you know Pirates of Penzance, the Mikado, or what's her- oh, HMS Pinafore. If you know any of those, you're gonna recognize the music at the very least. But obviously they changed the words, because I'm pretty pretty sure that Evelyn evil the pirate queen Evelyn it does not appear in any of those actual musicals. So but yeah, so you've got the Sixth Doctor and Evelyn, and your main evil pirate Red Jasper. Which, if that's not a pirate name, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
And they're the Sea Eagle, which is where the Doctor and Evelyn ended up first, which is like a British ship with the most useless captain.
Yeah, just a bit.
Emmanuel Swan. Who is,
and as soon as I hear Captain Swan, I'm thinking not of the Pirates of the Caribbean Swan.
No.
I'm thinking of a different Swan, and it's like, nope, wrong series.
Wrong series again. There's a lot. You know what? There must have been a historical pirate with the last name Swan, because that name just gets brought up in conjunction with pirates all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some historian going out there like, no, it's this, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry.
This captain is not going to be go down as some sort of like legendary tyrant of the high sea. The best word I could think of for this particular Captain Swan is he is a dandy.
Yeah, that's a
Just
good way.
Think of the type of caricature that you have seen in TVs and movies that you would use the word dandy to label them. That is this guy. He's probably spending the entire time clutching probably a silk handkerchief, wondering how the hell he got into this situation and how he can get out of it with doing the least amount of work as possible,
without breaking his nails.
Yes. Oh. And then you got Sally, Evelyn's student in the quote unquote present day. And then Mr. Merriweather, kind of the ruthless first mates ish. I don't know. And then you have a bunch of random pirates that Evelyn couldn't think of names for all of them. So there's like James Jameson and Tommy Thompson. Also, John Johnson.
these real names?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Sea Eagle gets sunk. And so everyone ends up aboard the Adventurer's Fancy, the pirate ship. And then poor Jem, the cabin boy, is the reason that Evelyn struggles with telling the story, because it seems like it's going to be like Muppet Treasure Island, which we did like this time, like last year,
Yeah.
2 years ago,
Mhm.
something like that. It showed up on my Facebook memories recently, so I'm like, oh, well, how appropriate, we're doing another pirate story. Rachel loves pirates, what can I say?
Hey, I'm a fan too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Same.
So you kind of expect it to be like that type of story, or Pirates of the Caribbean. But yeah, no, this story, it again, this is something that Big Finish does fairly well, as they set you up with kind of a really interesting, maybe not always exciting, but definitely interesting premise, because they can do these really wild things because they don't have to worry about things like special effects and costumes and the like, so they can really go out there. And so you're getting this really great story, and obviously you know Colin and Maggie Stables at this point, have developed a really, you tell they developed a good working relationship with their characters, and because unlike Romeo and Juliet, Big Finish does allow their cast to be in the same room together sometimes. So,
Mhm.
uh, so yeah, so they get this great repartee. These characters playing off each other, and this really fun premise, and like they get to, what is it, the end of the second part, because this is in 4 parts. It's the end of the second part where they threaten that the doctor's gonna start bursting out into song, but he doesn't quite yet. And then at the start of the third act
Mhm.
is when he breaks out into the first song. So you're like, oh yeah, this is really fun. And then we find out that in the process of this, Red Jaspers and his crew are trying to find this island. There are these islands, the Ruby Islands, where this treasure is supposedly buried by his former captain. And this kid, the cabin boy Jem, turns out he knows where it is vaguely because his father told him. And they allude to Red Jesper having this mean streak, where he'll just like shoot someone. But you kind of just like, well, that's what pirates do. They carry pistols and swords. They're either going to shoot someone or stab someone. Even my D&D character, she was a pirate. She liked to stab
Yes.
things. It's what we do.
Yes.
Um,
And she had a very good penchant for drink.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not all rum, but it is
No.
that is a big part of it. But yes, it's
mhm,
stabby, shooty, shooty.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stick them with the pointy end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Surprise stabby hug.
Yes.
Available on our Redbubble store.
Yes. Yes. Olaf, you are not.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But we find out that when Red Jasper finds out that this kid might know more than he's letting on, literally beats him to death.
Yeah, which is kind of a shock from all the hey, we were
Yeah.
just singing about, Gallifreyan Buccaneers, and now, there's actually death in this.
Yeah. Yeah, and not just, shooty or stabby. It's, he gets in there and literally beats this poor kid to
Yeah.
death. And it's just like, Evil is distraught.
Right.
Absolutely distraught. Because she was there, and
Mhm.
she couldn't do anything about it. Because up to this point, her adventures with the Doctor, while they've been some peril, everything's
It's generally been okay.
yeah.
I'm not sure if at this point if they have if she's met Cassie yet or not. Probably not. I would have to look that up.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's kind of ends up being like a theme of Evelyn's run, is that she finds these she has all these like young kind of innocent, she just kind of takes them under her wing, and then bad stuff happens to them, and then it's like, oh no, like what and then she just has this, I don't want to say it's a breakdown, but she has a moment, and like she gets really invested in these young people that she encounters. And she's just very caring, like we're introduced to her as this kind of buttoned up stodgy history professor, but she's actually your favorite grandmother.
Yes.
Pretty much. And so she loves these kids that she comes in contact with, whether they're her students or just people she meets on the with the Doctor, on the adventures with the Doctor. But then it's a little heartbreaking at times for her.
Mhm.
And to watch her, and that's kind of why she's become a favorite, because she is older, and she kind of puts the Doctor in his place, so to speak, but at the same time she's got a very big heart, and she's very loving and sweet, and you don't want to disappoint her, because that's like disappointing your grandma.
Yes.
But at the same time, that she's going to go to bat for you no matter what.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. But I mean, obviously everyone's different, and aging affects everyone differently, but I mean, because she is older, she can't necessarily do some of the things that younger companions can't, like, she's not going to pull a Rose Tyler and suddenly swing on a chain.
Well, okay, yeah. So like the physical, but she's also, there's some.
She's got wisdom with her years.
Yes,
though.
that's what I was trying to get at. Is like she brings some wisdom, and she brings compassion even to the TARDIS. Not saying that other companions don't, but there's that. It's compassion that's also realistic in a lot of ways, which is important too. So it's, I don't know. I just,
your heart breaks for her. Right?
Yes,
you're
constantly
hearing how broken her heart is.
Yes, you're like, why did you do that? What was the purpose of that? But then they do it again anyway, and it's like, really?
Yeah. Well, it's this horrible thing, and then the story with the pirates still has to go on, and thankfully with the Doctor, no thanks to the dandy Captain Swan, helping being chased by a dinosaur. It's a freaking iguana, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
If
my
that's what you
goodness.
think is
Idiot.
a dinosaur, we got some issues there, bud.
Oh man. Your concept of biology troubles me, or your grasp of biology troubles me.
Troubles me. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, lady. Thank you, Madam Vastra.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, it's this sad thing happens, and but thankfully, you know, they kind of get their revenge and kind of somewhat justice for Jem, that, you know, the person that's responsible for his death is not going to get the treasure, um which is about the only justice you can get when you're dealing with pirates, I think. Like, the thing you killed for, you're not gonna get, and your entire crew is gonna turn tailcoat on you in the process and leave you behind. But then when the doctor takes Evelyn home, she discovers this letter from Sally, this student,
Mhm.
and it turns out it's a suicide note.
Yeah. Remember how we said that this one was going to get dark?
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
really dark. It's like, we've got child abuse to the point of murder, and now we have, you know, potential suicide, and, you know, the doctor, for, you know, because he's not completely not compassionate, even though this doctor does come off as very gruff compared to others.
He's gruff, but then he has the very sweet, caring side, which comes out from time to time when
Yes.
when it is warranted.
Yeah. Just don't point it out too often.
Yeah, that too.
It might have words.
Yes. Well, but yeah, here we are, and
yeah.
so
this
yeah.
gal who, she was in a relationship with someone, and that person unfortunately died in a car accident where she was behind the wheel, and therefore she feels responsible. So, and she decides that she in her mind, you know, she's trying to live, she's going to class, and in her mind all of her classmates are looking down at her with pity, and, you know,
it's really rough on her, and
yeah, I mean, it is very rough. Yeah,
and Evelyn has been one of the she's been one of the professors that's kind of been
there for her.
Been kind to her, been there for her. So Sally feels like, I'm gonna do this, but I want to leave, Professor Smythe a note before I do. And so then, Evelyn goes into her sweet mama bear mode and shows up with chocolate cake and a funny story about pirates, because she is trying to help her, to help this gal.
Yeah. Well, and like we said, the doctor not being a complete incompassionate SOB, that he uses the TARDIS to take him back in time so that they arrive just after Sally mailed that letter. So that they can hopefully intervene.
Yes.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting choice that Big Finish made to take something so campy, something it could be so campy as pirates, and musicals, and combine it with such serious topics.
Yes,
but it's done really well, and I think really respectfully.
I mean, like as I've kind of harped on in this podcast, like, this is, there's Big Finish is still experimenting and working on a few things, but I mean, this one could have gone completely toes up and just like fallen flat. I mean, worse than flat, given what the subject matter is, but it doesn't. It really takes. It really, is compassionate and kind about this, because this is a serious topic, one that affects so many people for various reasons, one way or the other, but it's done in such a way that it's like, it's still fun, it gets you thinking, it doesn't dwell on the hard things, but it also doesn't give it short shrift, and I think it's very well balanced and very sweet in the end, because it kind of needs to be. And it's something like, you can tackle hard topics, but you don't have to do it in a way that they're just way heavy, because I think that's a big reason why such things don't get talked about, because they are so heavy and people are like, oh, I don't want to sit with that for so long. But
because this is one of those topics where it's like, you got to find that balance between like after school special, like, seriousness, which those always tried to be serious, but you couldn't take them seriously.
Yeah, those were always kind of
because it's like, if you try to take yourself too seriously, no one's gonna be able to take you seriously.
No, there's a reason. Like, people make fun of that stuff nowadays.
Yeah. But if you treat it too lightly, then people aren't gonna talk about it. People
And
that
you might
suffer from it, because then they're gonna be like, oh, people are just gonna brush it off. They're not gonna think it's that serious.
Yeah, or people are like, hey, this is something I actually go through, or that I've experienced, or someone else that I'm close to. It's like, yeah, you kind of were a little insensitive there, but right here they're not. They do a really, really good job.
Yeah.
And people remember the funny, musical send up and the pirates and all that, but they also remember, oh, right, this is the one about that poor girl, and how do you what I love about this one is that, like, Evelyn comes in and she's just, she can't tell a story at all. She's really bad at it. She brings in cake, and Sally's just like, what in the world is even going on? I don't know. But it's like, it's the fact that she's trying, because I think some people, like, when they hear, oh, I'm having, they have a friend that's having a problem or something, like, oh no, how do I help? What do I do? What is this? What are some resources? And really, all Evelyn had to do was show up. And it didn't matter that her story was all over the place, that she wasn't very good at telling it, and that it was all kind of weird and bizarre and everything. But the fact that she showed up, I think that if there is a message in this, it's to show up. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to, have all the answers and have it all figured out. It's the fact that you're there.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a relief to me, having experienced some of these things, having, friends or just situations where, that I was involved in. It's like, what do? You show up. That's what you do. Flat out. And if you tell a goofy story about pirates, well,
right.
It's just being there, and you don't have to have all the answers, and nor are you expected to, but showing that you care, showing that you have a vested interest in this person or something like that. It's just, it means it goes a long way. It really does.
Yeah. Absolutely. So. Oh, Big Finish.
Yes. You laugh, you cry. Sometimes you cry more than you laugh, but we love it all.
Sometimes you get songs stuck in your head.
That too. So many times. Yeah. And even if you can't remember the words and you're just kind of humming along, and Anyway. You have anything else you wanted to say about it, or?
Well, this, like I said, it's just this is another good one.
Yep. And you should, definitely check it out if you feel so inclined. All our listeners out there. Well, if any of our listeners, speaking of, have heard this or listened to it and want to chime in about it, or any other Sixth Doctor shenanigans, if you have a funny Colin Baker story from a convention or some such,
Which can't be mine.
Yeah.
You can try.
All right.
Yeah, we could try to make this a contest. I think Rachel will win, but we'll,
Hands down, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can beat the nail clippings, but whatever. Anyway, if you have anything that touches upon anything that we've talked about during this podcast today, send us some feedback telling us about whatever it is that's on your mind. Our email address is 5ishfangirls@gmail.com, and our website is the5ishfangirls.com, which has links to all of our social media where you can leave comments or check out our videos and posts and everything else that we do. We also have a YouTube channel, and we also have a Patreon and a couple other ways to support the channel, including a Redbubble store, which was mentioned at least once during this podcast. And as always, we thank our listeners, we thank our supporters for all that you do for us in support of the show. We love you guys, and some days I wonder why, but you guys are awesome for supporting us, because we're just that goofy, but we love you. So thank you all for what you do, and we will continue to provide you with such quality entertainment.
I mean, Colin Baker loves us. He said so in his bumper.
Yes, yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
I still grin about that. I love that. I love that.
And we love him.
We do. We love him right back. What would we do without our good old Sixie?
I don't know.
Yes.
Alrighty then. Well, with that, we shall sign off for this week.
This is Brittany Bella saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying night from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. I hope I do get to see Collins again sometime soon. I did not keep the fingernail clippings. I still have the fingernail clippers.
Oh.
There we go. I was about to.
Listening to the 5ish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at the5ishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and any other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you wish to support the show, the easiest way is to leave us a rating and review. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at patreon.com/5ishfangirlspodcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to keep the show going. For official 5ish Fangirls merchandise, visit redbubble.com/people/5ishfangirls. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at 5ishfangirls@gmail.com. You could also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/5ishfangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and may the squee be with you.